Welcome to another episode of Youth Diary. Today we are going to discuss about obesity and its related problems. And to help us, we have Dr. Muhamed Ismail with us. He is Chief Surgeon at Maulana Hospital, Perindalmana. Hello, Doctor. Welcome to our show. So, Doctor, what is an obesity?
Obesity is a disease by which there is excess storage of the fat in your body. For every person, there is an ideal body weight. The ideal body weight you can calculate by measuring the BMI, body mass index.
Okay.
See, the body mass index is nothing but just divide your weight in kilogram divided by your height in meter square. So the normal body weight is 18 to 23. The 18 is the lower measurement and the 23 is the highest. So if the body mass index is more than 23, that is abnormal. So if it is up to 30, we are calling it as an obesity. So if the body mass index is more than 30 or 32, that will produce diseases. But then we will call it as a morbid obese. So that is the staging of the obesity, and it depends on the BMI. We stage the morbid obese again, the grade 1, grade 2. I mean, if it is 30 to 40, it is a grade 1, and 40 to 50. Like that, it is and if it is above 60, then we call it as a super obese. So that is the measurement of the obesity. You can grade the obesity like that.
And Doctor, what is the incidence of obesity in youth now?
Yeah, now the problem, the worldwide problem is the obesity, because the obesity presents a enormous burden on the healthcare system. In US and all, it is almost 33% of the patients are morbidly obese, which they need surgery. In India also, we thought it was less, but we found that the latest statistics shows that almost 7% of the patients in Indian population are obese. And I mean, when you take the number of the patient, it is huge, because when you take the 130 million people, the 10%, less than 10% is a huge number of the patients who are obese. And the more than that, we found that the adolescent obesity in India is increasing. That means, I mean, even though there is no correct statistics, the metro cities, our society, that is, I'm an obesity surgeon, and we have got an association called Obesity Surgery Society of India, and we have conducted a study in the 4 metropolitan cities in the schools, and the results were really astonishing, in the sense that almost 25% of the school children in metro cities are obese. So the problem is that there, after 10 or 15 years, they are going to become the adult of our country, and so the obesity is definitely, it is increasing, and the incidence is almost 7 to 8% at present in India. And if you take the other countries like Kuwait, I believe the latest study shows that only 12% of the patients are below 25 BMI. That means almost 88% of the population is above 25 BMI, other obese.
Okay. So is it because of the changing lifestyle, or?
Definitely. There is the why the patient become obese. Still the research is going on, but now there are more and more evidence suggests that previously we thought that it is just because that the patient is not doing the correct exercise, or they are eating too much. But now there are different science behind it, and recently we found that there is a course called Metabolic Allied Research Center, that is the USA, they are doing it, and now they have come out with lot of evidence with the help of the studies in the mice and rats, that I mean, our body is just like an orchestra. So whatever the bad thing comes, our body has got the ability to resolve it or balance it. Like that, if you go to the cold, the body will preserve our heat. Similarly, or if you give blood, then within 48 hours the blood will recoup. Similarly, if somebody has eat more, the body has got a mechanism that it has to be balanced. So that is called a set point. Set point since there are multiple factors acting on it. From our brain, from the hormones, from the genetics things, and a lot of things are there. So when there is a imbalance in that system, some patients, whatever you eat, it comes. So we usually call it as, in the family, all our family members are obese, or I am getting obese. So definitely the genetic plays a role, but along with that there are a lot of the other factors there to you become obese. But in general, we can tell that it is the imbalance between your energy intake and energy output, because in a sense, for your daily activities you need an amount of energy. Suppose you call it as 1000. So in the food you are generating that energy. So if you take more than that, if that food produces almost 2000 or 2500 kilocalories of energy, that extra calories will turn as fat in your body.
The body keep it as a reserve.
Keep it as a reserve.
Okay, fine.
So that is just a layman language, but there are a lot of the other factors also. Suppose you do good exercise, that means the muscle in our body has got a very good role in that. Previously I told that set point that it has got a very good role. So to do that role, you have to keep your muscles good. So you have to do good exercise or some sort of the exercise to keep your muscles good. Then even if you take more calories, that will be balanced.
Okay, right.
So whenever there is a alteration in that balance, the people becomes obese.
Okay. Are there any diseases associated with obesity?
A lot. Now the science of the medical science have proved that more than 65 diseases directly connected with the obesity. From the very common diabetes, hypertension, cardiac disease, varicose veins, psychiatry, there are 10 cancers. It is proved that 10 cancers in our body is directly connected with the obesity. From the carcinoma breast, carcinoma cervix. So obese patients definitely is having more these cancers. So these are called the comorbidities. So the obesity related diseases are, day by day, the list of those diseases is increasing.
Okay. So, Doctor, we'll see the questions.
Myself, Srikanth. I am from Amrita School of Arts and Science, Kochi. What should be the ideal weight of a person?
I believe I have already answered that question. The ideal body weight should be, if you take a very simple calculation, it has to be 100 minus from your height in centimeters. Suppose if it is 180 centimeters height, then the ideal body weight, the upper limit of the ideal body weight should be 80 kilogram. So you can easily calculate what is the ideal body weight.
Okay, Doctor, we'll see the next question.
Yeah.
I am Sharath Kumar, studying Master of Computer Application in Amrita School of Arts and Science. My problem is I have only 55 kiloweights and I have a height of 182 centimeters. But how to gain weight naturally?
Okay.
So I believe your ideal body weight should be at least 75 kgs. As he is having 182 centimeters, at least 75 to 80 should be. He is only 55.
That means
he is really underweight, because the BMI should be less than 18. So ideally you have to have a medical checkup just to see whether there is any cause of the undernutrition or going your weight. And again you have to see whether he has gained weight and he lost some weight recently. And again he has to be investigated. Just like the thyroid hormones, whether he is having a hypothyroidism or the GIT, you have to examine. So it is always better to go to a doctor, get examined and investigation, and if no problem is there, it is just to increase your intake. Like the high calorie diet you can take, high protein diet. If I think there are a lot of dietitians available in all the hospitals, go to a dietitian and get a 3000 or 3500 kilocalorie high protein diet sheet and start eating.
Okay, doctor, there are nowadays there are a lot of vitamin supplements or protein supplements in the form of tablets and all those things. Is it useful?
You have to be very careful about these protein supplements, especially you can see that in many gyms they are giving these powders and all, but you have to make sure that this doesn't contain any steroids, because some companies they will produce these things and add steroids, so that would be really not good for your health. So you have to ideally you have to, under the prescription of a doctor, you have to take these things. Don't go and buy these things and take it. Before that, as I said earlier, we have to get investigated if there is any weight loss or any cause for this one. Many patients we are having this hypothyroidism. So if the thyroid hormone is high, you won't gain weight. There will be a loss of weight. So this has to be investigated, then only you have to take. Otherwise, I think for a normal person, there is no need for any supplementaries. You can include it in your normal diet. And it is, I mean, economical also. As I am telling, the one egg has got a 3 grams protein. To get that 3 gram protein in tablets forms or in the powder form, you have to give at least, I think, the 10 times of, I mean, for an egg you have got only 4 rupees. Yeah, right. You have to spend almost 40 rupees. So the better go for the natural food and get just find out which is the high calorie diet and go for that.
Okay, doctor. So we'll go to the other question.
My name is Satul Sadet. I am doing MCA from Ahmedabad School of Arts and Science. I have a question for that. What are the problems with obesity?
Okay.
As I told earlier, the obesity, the problems with the obesity is, the list is increasing. There are almost 65 diseases we have already identified as the direct cause of the obesity. To mention about the common diseases, the main thing is the diabetes mellitus. So the diabetes, as I told you earlier, it is increasing alarmingly. And our India is the diabetic capital of the world, because at present it is calculated that almost 300 million people are in the world is obese. Diabetic, and almost 62 million. That is the last 2011 statistics. 62 million people are diabetic from India. That is almost one-fifth of the diabetic population in the world is from India. And not only that, the real concern about the physician is that the younger people are becoming diabetic, like between 30, 40, 50 years. That is the productive period of their life, So the diabetes is one disease you have to be very careful, and you have to deal very seriously. In the sense, the diabetes is just like a cancer. It affects all of your body, from head to toe. It affects all your bodies, and it is a slowly killing disease. It affects your heart, your eyes, your kidneys, your nerves, whatever the cells are there in your, it will produce. And we are concerned about the end organ failures, because it will damage the organs, and that is how the people, now it is calculated that in every 10 seconds one person is dying of diabetes or its complication. 1 in 10 seconds. That is again calculated that 10 seconds is again reducing. Even 1 in 5 seconds there is a person is dying of diabetes. So it is a disease which is very we have to take very seriously, and especially in our country and especially in the youth, because that is the productive period of their life. And once becomes in 40 years or 33 years, he is going to be crippled in the sense his lifestyle change, he has to take medicines, he cannot travel, and many patients are coming to us. In addition to the diabetes, the other thing you have to be careful is the heart disease and the hypertension, the varicose veins, the sleep apnea. The patient, you can see that the obese patients will get snoring, and the sleep apnea means they may not know that in between their sleep the oxygen saturation will go down, and they will stop breathing at a point. That point the hypothalamus will act, and the patient will awake from the sleeping. So that is a dangerous situation in the sense that for some time the oxygen saturation in our body is so low, and that is it happens every day, Whenever he sleeps, it happens. That will damage our organs, especially the brain and all. So these patients are eventually, they will develop some other diseases. So sleep apnea is another disease, and as I told, various type of the cancers. So these are the common diseases you can get with the obesity.
Doctor, is it a curable disease, diabetes?
The diabetes is again, we know that there are a lot of medical treatment modalities, many types of the medicines, different types of the medicines, the insulins, and the insulin itself is the different types, like the injectables. You must have heard about the insulin pump. Now insulin patch has come. The medical treatment, but now it is proved that the medically the diabetes is not curable disease, because you know that whether when we are taking the blood sugar level, that is the indication that whether you are a diabetic or not. More than that, there is a blood test called glycosylated hemoglobin that will give you a glucose level of in your body for 3 months. So the glycosylated hemoglobin should be less than 6 in a normal person, and it should be less than 7 in a diabetic patients on treatment. But it is proved from various studies, we proved that with the medical treating patients, the A1C level comes down below 7 only in 55% or 45% of the patients. That means with the medicine itself, it is not controlled. That's why there are a lot of, when we are the treatment of the morbidly obese patient is bariatric surgery. That means that we are reducing the size of your stomach, and we are readjusting realigning the gastrointestinal tract in such a way that the absorption will come down. So this is called bariatric surgery to treat the obesity. Then one very exciting factor we found when we do the bariatric surgery is that the almost 20 to 30% of the obese patients are diabetic. So when we do the surgery to reduce the weight, before getting the weight reduction, the diabetes is going off. So if that patient, if suppose a 160 kilogram weight patient and his blood sugar is diabetic and on insulin, and after the surgery, immediately after the surgery, his blood sugar comes normal. So that's why the research have started. And what is any other? I mean,
is it without a medical treatment?
Without medical treatment.
Okay, right.
Without medical treatment. So that's why we have started the research, and we found that our intestine, when we take food, there are a lot of hormones secreting, and these hormones plays a very good role in the glucose homeostasis. That means whether your blood sugar adjustment in your so these surgeries now we started using in non-obese patients also. So if your BMI is more than 32 and you are a diabetic, with your bariatric surgery 100% your diabetic will go off, in addition to your weight normal. Then these surgeries, whether we can do it in a normal weight patients. That's why the research now going on. In our center, we have done more than 100 patients where the weight is normal. So the initial results are exciting, because you can. That's how.
So that means even after the surgery, also they don't have to go for a medical.
They don't have to go for the medical treatment. Or many patients who are on insulin, they have come down. Their treatment, this one has come down. Many patients are off medicines. More than that, their A1C is coming down below 7 or below 6. That means they are getting well controlled. So that is very exciting. Another area of research happening in the diabetes. So we don't know whether after 5 or 10 years we can come, because we don't know. Now we have got these surgeries, have been doing it for 5 or 6 years. In my center we are doing it for last 2 years. So initially there is good result. We don't know how long it lasts. We cannot tell what happens after 10 years. So we have to wait some more time just to tell whether this surgery will be an alternative to the pharmacotherapy.
Okay. So doctor, we'll go to the other question.
Hi doctor, I'm Amrita. I have a doubt. My uncle is obese and he snores at night. What is the solution for that?
Okay.
I believe, I've answered this question early because the snoring is one of the effects of the obesity. So, in this gentleman, as he is obese, the snoring may be due to the obesity. There are so many other causes of the snoring also. So, with these patients, definitely he has to reduce his weight. Before going for that, he can have an ENT examination and to see whether there is any other problem. Most probably, his snoring will be due to the obesity only. So, once he reduces his weight, definitely that will go off.
So, Doctor, that was really an informative talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's all for today. Write your suggestion to us. Our email ID is youthdiaryrosebowl@gmail.com. Bye-bye.